Welcome to All That Matters, a show about what's really worth your attention in the markets and economy today. Join hosts Michael Antonelli and Ross Mayfield as they tackle the latest headlines and answer real questions from clients.
Welcome to All That Matters with Mike and Ross. Ross, it's November of 2025. Year's winding down. It's been a good year in the stock market as of now, double-digit returns. Economy seems to be slowing a little bit, but still hanging in there. Earnings seem pretty good with the big companies. We just went through earnings season. But since we're approaching the holidays, we thought it'd be fun to have a little holiday-themed episode based off a blog I just wrote called Inside Out. And in the blog, I talked about kind of investor emotions. I talk about the kind of stuff you go through in life this year, last year, the previous year, the kind of stuff people go through, kind of inspired by the movie Inside Out, which was a pretty cool Pixar movie where you saw a young woman and like the emotions inside her. She moved across the country. But we're going to do a Thanksgiving special here where we talk about investor emotions at a dinner. So this should be fun. Hopefully this is lighthearted. You enjoy this. And if you notice that you're experiencing one of these emotions, then you could talk to your advisor or us about it, and we can get you through that. So, all right. So Ross, we come to a home. It's a beautiful Thanksgiving spread. There's a bunch of people inside. They are the emotions that are inside of us. We're going to start with fear. Okay, fear. Fear is stuck in the bathroom. Okay, fear does not want to come out of the bathroom. The news told fear that turkey makes you sleepy and it's afraid of being sleepy. So fear refuses to come to the table. It is one of the dominant investor emotions forever, Ross. And talk to us about how fear can affect people even today with the stock market near all-time highs.
Yeah, when I think about fear, it's like the once every 3, 4, 5 year just absolute gut punch drops in the market where the future is totally uncertain, right? And so this year, April 2025, we have one of the worst 4 or 5 day sell-offs in 150 years of market history. We're going into a tariff regime that is completely unpredictable to everyone who's been in the market. And there is just a paralyzing fear. And when I think about fear and I think about big drops, March 2020, 2008, the main thing, successful investors are able to compartmentalize that fear and not sell into that emotion or into those big dips. Because if there's one thing that really can throw a plan off, it's interrupting that compounding wealth by selling into a fear-based panic. And so it doesn't happen often, but when that fear hits, managing it is the most important skill someone can have.
Yeah, I don't imagine there's too much fear in the world right now, right? The stock market a couple % off all-time highs. There's probably another emotion we'll talk about later, but I don't think there's a lot of fear right now. But fear has a sibling, and the sibling is sitting at the table, and the sibling's name is greed. So greed is sitting at the table. It's got a full plate, full glass of wine, full everything, and it just wants more. It's not happy with what it has. Greed wants the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing because that's not enough in front of greed. And greed might be expressing itself right now. There might be investors out there that are saying, oh, the stock market's near all-time high. Housing prices are up. All these assets are, maybe I need more. Maybe I don't have enough. And greed can be a little bit insidious because what it does is it makes us reach for things, Ross, that we probably don't need to reach for. And I think I'll be interested to hear your take on greed because it's one of these emotions that not only for money, but for life or for items or goods that we just have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100%. I mean, the same way that you can sell into a bear market because of fear, if you overextend in a bull market, it can be just as devastating to your long-term plan. I mean, there's no way around it. If you overextend on risk and get into assets maybe you don't understand or that are really stretched, it can be just as devastating. I mean, it doesn't feel like it because it's not as scary in the moment, but it's 100% just as devastating. Charlie Munger, I wrote this quote down. He had a great quote. He said, if a thing is a bad idea, it's hard to overdo, but where there is a good idea with the core of essential and important truth, you can't ignore it. The good ideas are a wonderful way to suffer terribly if you overdo them. That's greed.
Yeah.
If you take a good idea and you overdo it, that's greed, and that can be super damaging.
Greed, I think about greed like this, and we'll go on to the next one. You have to tell yourself, do I need more? Do I have enough? And it's kind of a rhythm between the two. It's not one or the other. You don't want to be, I want more. I have enough. It's kind of a rhythm between the two. You have to tell yourself, oh, I have enough. I have what I need. I have my family, my friends, my charity, whatever. I have what I need. And then every now and then, oh, maybe let's try to get a little bit more. But we have to make sure that greed doesn't take over from more or enough, right? Greed is a very, very insidious thing. And just be careful with it. Make sure it doesn't kind of overwhelm you. All right. A cousin to fear, the third one we're going to talk about is FOMO. FOMO is fear of missing out. And it's a tough one to manage because FOMO is saying to itself, oh, I got to go to another dinner. This one's good, but there's another one over there that's better. And maybe Ross's is even better. Maybe Mike's is even better. So I'm looking for better things than I have right now. And this is tough for investors because I see it all the time, Ross, you probably do too. Investor will come and say, my buddy at the club is in this. Do I need to be? I read about this in a newsletter. Should I be doing that? When in reality, people should play their own games. You have a plan, you have a personality, you have an investment set, you have an advisor advising you. Playing your own game is important, Ross.
Yeah, FOMO is brutal. It's one of the like worst traits that an investor can really internalize because, like you said, it gets you off plan so quickly, and it doesn't discriminate, right? So I've been reading a lot about bubbles because we get the question all the time: are we in a bubble? And I was reading about the South Sea bubble back in like the 1720s, and Isaac Newton, one of the smartest guys ever, way smarter than I could ever dream of being, buys some South Sea stock, goes up, he sells it. He makes a profit in a bubble, but then it keeps going up and it goes vertical and his friends are getting rich and he buys more. And then it turns over and he loses the equivalent of $3 million today. So smartest guy ever, but not incapable of avoiding FOMO because it's just, and you know, today it's like that he didn't have Instagram. He didn't have TikTok. Like today it's 50 times worse. So it's a brutal one. It's the one that we have our eyes peeled for really closely.
Tell yourself this, and I do this all the time to myself. I don't need to be in that. I don't need to collect art. I don't need to collect wine. I don't need to be in crypto. It's okay. You can succeed at all your goals and financial plans without other things, without saying, I want that or that. Remember, these are all kind of synergized together, but they're all very real emotions that people go through. Right? Let's talk about the fourth one. This is a tough one, especially in the world we live in today. So anxiety had 10 cups of coffee before coming to dinner. Anxiety is just vibrating. It heard on the news that that something might be wrong with gravy, so it's worried about even touching the gravy, and it can't stop thinking about the worst case scenario. Anxiety is living in an unknowable future where it thinks bad things are going to happen, and anxiety is magnified by the fact that the more news you watch or the more social media you consume, the worse you think the world is. Yeah,
we know pretty objectively. There've been a lot of studies that show that news is getting a little more negative. There's just a desperate competition for eyeballs. And the way to do that is to kind of lean into the if it bleeds, it leads, idea. And so we talked about there's not a lot of fear today, right? The market's at all-time highs. We don't have this big, but there is a ton of anxiety. Anxiety is everywhere. Anxiety about the national debt, about the dollar, about the future of the US, about the geopolitical situation, about is AI in a bubble? I mean, there's a million anxieties that nag all the time. And those things build up and they calcify. And then one day you wake up and you want to be out. You want to sell. You can't manage the anxiety. And so it's different from the big, bear market where like you're turning on the news and it's like, oh my God, what is happening? But all these little anxieties can add up to something that's just as similar and a lot harder to get out of because it's more than one thing. So, and again, social media 10X is it. So I'm with you. I mean, this is the thing, like going around, meeting our clients, talking to you every day. Like this is the one that's the hardest to manage in the current world.
Yeah. I think anxiety of all these is like the one that you're going to deal with every single day of your life. You may be even anxious about your career or your life or the markets. Like anxiety is this kind of insidious thing that sits on us, and it's very difficult to overcome. But you have people in your corner when you're feeling anxious. You read something's happening. This guy, me and Ross, we're here for you. The advisor, Baird, we think about this stuff all the time. We think about ways to help our clients through anxious moments and all these other emotions. But this one in particular, because it's always with you. If you find yourself seeing something in the news or reading something on a blog and calling your advisor, you're experiencing anxiety, but that's okay. These emotions are okay. We're just trying to manage them as we go along. So the last one, this is the most important. And this is one that I find much happiness and peace with. The last one is called patience. Patience is an emotion that you have that can mitigate everything we just talked about. All of it. Patience. Patience is sitting at the table knowing that even if something's going wrong, even if the gravy's bad, even if the stuffing's bad, even if the green bean casserole's bad, patience knows that it'll be okay in the end, that it will be a fun event, that eventually this dinner will be successful. Patience isn't worried about the intricacies of day to day or meal to meal. It knows that things will be okay in the end, Ross. And this is one I find so amazing because if you think about the worst events of the past 25, 50, 100 years, people who had patience eventually were rewarded.
Yeah, I mean that it's the best skill an investor can have. We know that in the stock market, like on a given day, whether it's going to be up or down, is basically a coin flip. But over a year, the market is positive 70% of the time. Yeah. Over 5 years, 80-something% of the time, and over 20 years, always positive. We've never had a negative 20-year period. So patience and knowing that those anxieties or those things that are causing fear are almost always temporary. Now, it's not to say that they're not important, that they won't have an impact on the market or the world, but that if you're an investor and you can be patient and think long term, you've been rewarded hand over fist over the last century. So it's super important. It's hard. I mean, it's incredibly hard, but it is the thing that creates wealth more than anything else.
Yeah, and we know, past performance, no guarantee of future results. We know that, but patience has been the one of these emotions that has absolutely rewarded people the most because remember, as things get bad, as fear and anxiety show up, as the market collapses or the market crashes, people's incentives to solve the problem start to soar. So while you're being patient, people's incentives to solve whatever's happening in the world soar. COVID, 9/11, GFC, all of those. They eventually were overcome because that's what we do as people. We overcome our problems. So, all right, we're going to end on this, Ross. Around the corner here, we have a Christmas tree put up, and behind me, there's a Christmas tree put up. I was laughing a little bit about this. Like, people are coming to our house saying, no, you can't do that. It's too early. Yeah. But
November 6th.
But I'm about to defrost Mariah Carey because there's no Thanksgiving music. Like, if somebody wants me to not put my Christmas trees up, they need to come up with music, Ross.
Yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving needs like a PR manager, like a better vibe. It needs better decorations, better music.
Yeah,
they need to really take this month because I'm with you. Like, as much as I think it's a little early, like it's 70 degrees here in Kentucky, but I'm ready to do the same thing. I'm ready to put on the Mariah Carey, the Nat King Cole. Like, it's time because what am I going to do? Play the Charlie Brown Christmas theme Thanksgiving theme for a month? No.
And Thriller, like how many times can I hear Thriller during Halloween? Yeah. Like I can't do it anymore. Too.
Monster Mash, come on.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll come back in December. We'll wrap up the year. There's a lot to talk about. What happened? What did Ross and I get right? What did we get wrong? How did the market do? Why did it do what it did? So December will be a great month. It's the best month for holidays to wrap up the year. Ross and I are super excited to come back and talk to you. Ross, you have to wear the red again. We'll run back to red for the holidays in December. But all right, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks for watching All That Matters. Opinions expressed in this episode belong solely to Mike and Ross and do not necessarily represent the opinions of Baird. This program is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for any investment decisions.